Flo. Welcome to Hack and Slash, a D&D 2E podcast, where we talk about Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition, our favorite version of D&D.
It appears kind of in the 90s, and we still play and still love it. We don't know why, but it's the best one.
Yeah, we're very nostalgic for this era, so we talk about all things related to it. We hope you enjoy.
Yeah, much fun.
Don't ever take away from me my pornography. We obviously don't agree in what's obscene. I have the right to choose what I want to see and read. Don't try to take away from me my right to privacy. What I do is no one's business but me. So stay in a missionary position. I hope that you get bored to death. There's no way I'm going through life having vanilla sex. Hello, guys. That's me, Skelly Joe. Oh, no, it's not Skelly Joe. It's Flo. Hello. It's my new theme, I think. I'm going to put mask on every time.
Welcome to Hack and Slash, a D&D podcast, before we start talking about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. We have 3 cameras now.
Welcome.
It's the 13th episode.
This is our listeners' camera.
Listeners. Hello,
Hi, listeners.
That's a main camera. Hey, main camera. And that is just like showing things.
That's just porn.
That's a mask thing. So cool. Hack and Slash 13th episode.
Yeah.
Season 2, kind of. You know, like, or not kind of. It is season 2.
Yeah. But if it's season 2, wouldn't it be like episode 1 of season 2? Let's just not make it complicated, dude. It's episode 13.
Yeah.
We don't have seasons. We just have all the numbers in a row.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, keep it running because we want to see when we're at 100 or something, you know, like, for sure.
But yeah, it's our 13th episode, dude. Lucky 13.
Lucky 13. And today is the 13th. Woo, 13th of June.
Hey, it is. It's episode 13 on the 13th. We're recording on 13.
Wow. That means a lot, I think. I don't know what
this launches on June 28th because we record significantly before we launch. We're busy fuckers.
That's what we are, yes.
But I like, at the beginning of each episode, we speak a bit about, where we give a little quote, and it's often music lyrics. But when I do the quote, I always do music lyrics. But when you do the quote, sometimes music lyrics. But this time, I knew exactly what it was.
What was it?
It was Vanilla Sex by NoFX from the S&M Airlines.
Yeah. From 1989, so kind of in the era what we talk about, the 90s.
It's close enough.
It's close enough, and it's super cool song, and it fits to the topic because the topic today is.
Yeah.
What's the topic today?
It's
let's talk about sex, baby.
The topic
let's
is
talk
sex.
about D and
But you know, the Rancid did a great cover of that song on their album, on the Rancid NoFX cover album.
Mm-hmm.
Rancid also had a great cover version of
I
Vanilla
missed
Sex.
that. Oh, damn it. I don't know yet.
I think Lars sings it. But yeah, dude, it's super
and
rad.
it's super cool because we saw NoFX last week together, last weekend, so super nice. So I thought it's super fitting to the topic. It's super fitting because we saw them the last time for us, I think, because it was the last tour, or it's the last tour right now. And it was the last Punk and Public there where we met the first time. And
Are you close enough to your microphone?
I think so. It's these two, right? You adjust see my line-out, but Michael, our editor, will fix it like always.
Yeah, I don't know. We're having we get more and more technically complicated each time we record this.
But we don't get smarter.
But we're also stupid. So it's not working very well for us.
But now we have 3 cameras.
But we also...
it's just warm in here, and we have light and everything.
We have
really...
our video. It's our second video episode, by the way.
And by the way,
listeners, this is our listener camera.
Hello, listeners.
Second video episode, listeners. Hi.
So crazy. So in the first one, it worked really well. So much more clicks than the last 4 ones. So good. So
now we're up
thanks, guys, for checking out these podcasts.
So many more clicks.
Michael said to us, our editor. Yeah, at least, but in the days count, so it's like in 1 week was like over 100 clicks, and the others is like 2 or 4 months. It's not even 100 clicks. So
it's because of your sexy face.
Okay, put your mask on again.
Sex is our topic today. We talk about all things D&D on this podcast, as well as 90s nostalgia and punk rock is kind of our going theme, the nerdcore culture that we grew up with. And today we figured, what do people really want to hear? Well, they want to hear 2 40-something-year-old talk about sex, especially if they're men and white.
For sure. It's really important to talk about that, and the people really want to listen to us. So, yeah.
Please keep listening.
Yeah.
Don't turn it off. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good podcast.
It will be the best podcast.
It's gonna be good.
You know,
it's gonna be good.
Sure. Yeah. And it's just because it's July, we thought like, what topic can be fit in July? Because it's June. Sorry, it's June, right?
June.
Because
I always confuse those 2 months too. You know, they're
June,
the same.
July,
except,
you know, it's four letters and whatever. You know,
why'd they make it like that? Those assholes.
Yeah. For stupid people like
the
me,
month.
you know.
Whoever named the months, you know, fuck you.
First burp already. Before we start the topic, I want to make a little shout out to the guy we met at the podcast at the punk rock.
Yeah, we went and saw Punk in the very last NoFX final tour last weekend together with our. It was the full crew with our podcast editor Michael. Shout out to this badass motherfucker.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was super fun. And it was the first time that was like our third NoFX show we went to. It was the first time I didn't get so drunk that I barely remembered the end.
Same. I even stayed till the after show party was.
Yeah, you saw Melvin.
It was
DJing.
Melvin. I touched him, you know, like he danced next to me, you know. He goes into the crew and into the group of people and danced with us, you know. And I was like, yeah, Melvin, woo! It was super fun.
And then you're like, oh, that's why your hand stinks. I'll never wash this hand again.
I never wash it again. Oh, Melvin is everywhere. I thought sex with my own hand.
I thought you just ran out of toilet paper or something.
No, it's just like Melvin.
Okay, it's Melvin's.
Melvin. Oh, it's Melvin's touch.
Melvin's sweat on me.
Oh, is it a spell? Melvin's touch.
Melvin's does a D&D spell.
That's cool. Melvin's touch. Now you stink.
He is and as mentioned in their biography, he's the NoFX guy who plays D&D.
Yeah, he's the only one who really mentioned that in the book, right?
In Hepatitis Bathtub. So. Yeah, we should make a fun spell named just Melvin's Touch, dude. That'd be pretty
cool. I like it.
Although more appropriate would be the Smelly's Touch. She's the drummer.
It's right. Yeah, it's Smelly. Might make sense, but whatever.
Now this podcast has become. We always talk about like punk rock and nostalgia before we talk about D&D.
Yeah, and we have to talk about this guy we met there, Jack McDungeon. Is he called on Instagram? Follow him. Really cool miniature painter, and he comes from the west of Germany, I think, and he's a really, really nice guy. I met him we met him in person there.
Shout out to Jack McDungeon, dude. It's really nice to meet you, homie.
I always chatted with him on Instagram. He's really nice to chat with, and he has really nice art. So shout out Jack McDungeon. Also dude. Shout out to...
thanks for the stickers, dude.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for your shout outs and that you put your sticker on your wet palette.
Yeah.
That. Super cool. And also shout out to... Goblin, what's the name?
Goldie
the Goblin.
Goldie the Goblin.
Super cool guy also from the UK who listened to that. Yeah, and I got disappointed by one guy, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, let's bring up that point though. So we had... we like every episode we say fuck fascists and fuck the AFD and fuck Donald Trump.
Oh fuck man.
But then we still have had some listeners who are like some pretty hardcore right wing people and
they didn't realize that we don't. You know, that we don't want that.
We try and make that pretty explicit.
And now we have the video thing, and now they understand. You know, now they can see our faces, and now they really believe
the
us.
Fascists only can respond to images. Yeah, that's why they keep going down the YouTube hole.
From this person who was kind of like he was honest. He said, okay, Flo, I didn't realize. So fuck, I will vote Trump the third time this year. Yeah. So maybe that means we can't be friends. I say, yeah, that's true.
You can't be friends with somebody who's going to vote for Trump, dude. Like, if you're going to vote for Trump, get fucked. Go die. Fuck you.
Don't be hypocrite too.
Jesus Christ.
We are not hypocrites. You know, he was like a nice guy and had a long discussion with...
a lot of fascists... There's that quote. There's that famous quote. I forget the author, but she said Nazis were really nice people.
Was it Anne Frank?
No. I don't think Anne Frank said Nazis were nice people, dude. I'm pretty sure that's not the one. But that'd be a lot cooler if she did. No, it was like some other author from the era of the 30s who was described, or maybe it was later, but she talked about her mother was like friends with, like the Nazis are pretty nice, and the modern day Nazis are often nice as well.
Yeah, it's your neighbor from, you know, like, and you drink coffee with, and then you vote AFD or
there's camps.
Trump. You know, like, yeah, and that was with this guy too. And so
even if
we
you're
have to kick
nice,
him.
like, fuck you if you're going to vote for Trump. I don't care how nice you are. Get fucked. Eat
So
a dick.
yeah, we don't want you here. We
Jesus
don't want that you
Christ.
follow me and him, and also not his band, not our hack and slash, not my private stuff. I don't want any contact.
No.
So thank. Goodbye.
No. Yeah,
Fuck you.
Eat a dick. Otherwise, we hope you love the podcast, and thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Supporting
Dude,
us.
we have to concentrate on one camera.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Our editors.
This
said,
is
you know,
this is
the camera.
This is the camera. That's the one.
But I also want to always.
But the listeners' camera.
Yeah.
Listener
The
cam.
listeners are the best camera. You know.
Yeah, no, they keep on having like it's hard.
Sorry, Michael.
Focus.
It's your fucking work then. But
well, you know, we got to talk about the sex today.
Yeah.
The sex and D&D. Can I ask you the first point of topic here?
Yeah, for sure. I'm
Sex
gonna
and
see
D&D.
if I missed something, but I didn't. So
I did,
fine.
like as I mentioned, I did conjure up a roten faden of sorts.
This time I'm completely lost. I don't have anything wrote down. I just have one thing I want to talk about later, but that's it.
More. You talk about your
outside.
penis again?
Yeah, that's what people want to know about,
They
right?
don't.
It's sex
That's not how we
today.
got
It's
followers.
a sex topic. I think maybe.
I have a question you might not have anticipated with this topic because it's not really much about the topic, but you'll see where I'm going by the end. I hope.
Okay. I
I want to ask you.
Philosophy.
Are you speaking of politics? Are you an anarchist? Do you consider yourself like really an anarchist?
That's interesting. It's an interesting question. I don't think so.
Because we're like total anarchy, and we you know it's fun to say.
You know, like in my brain, I am. You know, and I think like freedom for all, freedom for myself, and do whatever I want. But still, I'm living like in this system and going to a regular work, blah blah blah. So that means I'm not really an anarchist. But in my mind, I have this free space, you know, like this free room where I kind of live, but it's inside of my head, you know. It sounds weird, but maybe you can follow me, you know, like, so, and inside of that, I am like the anarchist. So yeah, I have mixed feelings. I can't really say, you know, it's complicated, you know, so but no.
No.
Oh, it's a yin.
You said you're neutral good. It's not super anarchy.
No, it's not. That's true.
Neutral good is not anarchy.
What is anarchy? Chaotic
Chaotic good. Chaotic
neutral?
any chaotic. I think, really.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Any chaotic alignment is kind of anarchy. But well, I'll see. I'll mention why later about that. But
are you anarchist?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
I think so.
I really think it's a viable alternative to the destruction of all life on Earth, which is the only thing governments can do because humans are too stupid.
Okay, yeah.
So
about that, I just said try anarchy once. You know, as we said in the last episode also. For sure, try it once, you know, like, why not? But I don't know if I am a real anarchist because I don't live in an anarchy system, you know, so I don't know. But in my heart and in my mind, I think I am.
Yeah,
because
we all have to play the system.
You know,
yeah, I do capitalist stuff, too. I mean, because, that's how we live. But I also don't think it's very healthy
for sure not.
All life on Earth to survive.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing why I think I'm not a real anarchist because I don't live this anarchist life.
I'm not a real anarchist, man. I'm just a fake. I'm just a poser.
I don't live in a squat house or something like that, you know, like, and I don't go anymore to really like on street and riot and blah blah blah.
You don't anymore? Did you used to?
Not really.
Go on street and riot. But now I'm 40.
But I went more on demos and blah blah. So when I was younger, so I don't do that anymore so often. So
but we're old anarchists.
Yeah,
It's
I think
fine to be at that.
Okay.
But okay, well, you'll see where I'm going with that later. It doesn't have much to do with
sex
or D&D, but I'm going to plug it into some D&D sex stuff. But now, let's get juicy with it. Let's talk sex and D&D. You know, D&D and sex, they're like they're together, you know, because the thing is D&D is a fantasy universe. It's fantasy role playing and it's medieval fantasy. And
when did you have the last time sex in AD&D?
Okay, thanks for framing it in the game terms. So I know the difference between if you're asking me in the real world or not. But
same.
AD&D. I don't know, does it matter?
Not really. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding.
Like it is cool.
Dark Feather, I think, right?
There's a lot of
your character.
It is important because, like I was saying, the fantasy world of D&D, it just ties in with like the fantasy world of sex. So when you're fantasizing about something, your mind is going to automatically go to sex no matter what the other thing is, because I think fantasy is like this.
By most of the people, I think you can't say
by generally like the part of the human brain that goes there.
I mean, there are
imagination.
there are persons who are like asexual. They have no sexuality at all.
Well, sure. I mean, there's exceptions to everything. Yeah,
for sure.
Like the asexual people, they clone themselves to breed or whatever. That's yeah. Oh no, I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, there's different sexualities and stuff. But generally, like when you're thinking about like fairies and elves and shit, like then that same part of your brain where you're thinking about like, I want to fuck this person. Yeah, it's all activated together, you know.
I mean, when you see all these old, or even the new ones, but all are like 80s, 90s covers from fantasy art.
Yeah,
stuff, you know, they're all so sexualized, you know, because they're painted by boys. So often, you know, like, so of course, then they're more like big titties and big asses and blah blah, and so really really hot girls, as you can think. But yeah,
But you were just thinking. You got distracted because you were thinking about it right now.
Yeah, right.
You're even just talking about.
I'm distracted.
Fantasy
by all
makes
this,
you fantasize
by all the sexy girls here on our back, you know, like, and sexy boys also.
Well, there's all sorts of crossover of D&D and sex. I was thinking like for the movies, you know, and the media, the D&D media. Like Conan the Barbarian, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, as we mentioned in some other episodes, we talked about the history of D&D and how, I think it's funny how Gary Gygax, the founder of D&D, one of them.
Dave Arneson.
And Dave Arneson, as we learned. We now give a shout out to him, too. But Gary liked Conan, and he didn't like Lord of the Rings. And it's funny because, like, Conan the Barbarian is, like, so fucking sexual, dude.
Yeah, totally
like,
male.
Yeah, just like a really the very homoerotic.
So yeah, for sure.
And like a lot, he's out just banging these chicks all over Samaria.
Yeah.
And then you have Lord of the Rings, which is kind of like the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's
very
brave. It's
sexual,
like sober and clean and it's nothing. I mean. Maybe arrogant and Aaron, you know, like, so, you know, there's a lot of stuff,
really,
but it's not sexual.
It's romance.
It's romance.
Yeah, it's not very. Yeah. And even Eowyn,
even though
he tried to deal with the Eowyn thing
a little bit, and
Eowyn and Faramir, I think. Like, they had a whole chapter that was about them getting together, but even that was kind of not really sexual.
What's the elfish queen again?
Galadriel.
Galadriel could be also like.
But no, it's all with him. It's all extraordinarily subtle undertones at best. It is not like actually explicit sexual shit.
But the thing is with sex on D&D, I often think like, you know, when you have sex in D&D, I thought about before this podcast.
I just really hope your mic's picking shit up, dude. Like, I feel like it's...
Hello.
You get a little closer,
you see, there it is. Yeah, I can.
Like,
I think Michael can fix it, but whatever. Hello. Okay. So, yeah, technique.
I hate it.
Yeah, all the time, always, you know. Maybe we have to have headphones.
The problem with this mic,
you know,
stand.
like headphones.
Okay.
Next time.
That's not sexual at all.
So, well, like a pilot. Is a pilot not sexual?
Oh no, pilots are very sexual.
You see? Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So
I fantasize about pilots.
The thing is, what I wanted to say is like, so often, or before the podcast, I thought about like sex in D&D so often became so silly, you know, like, oh yeah, then you have sex, giggling around, like, it's so funny, but what if you make it serious, you know, like, hey, and then you have like a sex story, you know, and maybe you have like some sicknesses coming out of like HIV or something, you know, like inside of the D&D world could be. I never played that, but I think that's interesting. You know, like you could play around with.
No, but that launches me into the tale of the D&D book of erotic fantasy.
Yeah.
So there is that in that book.
That's not an official book, right? It's not.
No,
official.
I think it is. It's from so there was.
But it has not even D&D on.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not officially.
I think it's a fan made thing.
But there was a book of D&D erotic fantasy. It came out in the early 2000s, and I bought it back then. And I remember using the table in it where you can roll for magical STDs. So they actually did have that.
What's an STD?
A sexually transmitted disease. What is it in German? German word of the day early this time. Turning you on.
What?
Sexual, like it's like.
It's disease,
like the chlamydia or AIDS or whatever.
Eine sexuell übertragbare Krankheit.
Okay, see, now we're getting to the hot stuff. That is so hot in German when you think about STDs. The first place is already hot, but when you say it in German, oh my God.
Sexuell übertragbare Krankheit.
Sexuelle übertragbare Krankheit.
Übertragbar, it's like, you can get it from me, but then I can get it from you.
So they have the magical versions of that in the D&D erotic handbook, and I use them in the campaign.
I mean.
And you watch your ass, bards.
Especially you bards.
Well, I don't know, fuck them, they get what they deserve. But like, then I use this table, and I bought this book, and I used it in my campaigns, and I try to get kind of have that book be a way to incorporate some sexual stuff into the campaign, because I was playing with friends and it was fun and we all knew each other, and then
what kind of diseases was there?
I forget.
Regular ones?
I forget. It's magical.
Magical
yeah,
ones,
so that you have penalties to stuff.
Now you have purple skin because of your sex with I don't know, whatever.
But it was a really cool book, and the thing is, then I moved away from my D&D group, and my friend who I played with, one of my best friends I love to play D&D with, the early 2000s equivalent of you in my D&D life. He ended up getting married, and then he knocked his wife up, and then like I moved away, and I said, look, dude, like him and his wife both played D&D with me. And that book had like so much cool stuff that I think you could actually role play with outside of the D&D setting. If you just wanted to have a D&D game as a couple, it could be so fun with that book. And I was single at the time, and the girls I was meeting weren't into D&D. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, dude, you and your wife are going to have way more fun with this book than me. So I gave it to him.
That's nice.
And I wonder if he still has it, because I looked it up for this episode. I was like, hey, maybe I'll buy a copy of that again.
$800 or what?
It's like
the first thing you saw, what was like 800 euros?
Yeah,
or
the first it was like $800.
And I also bought it like that, and the other one was like around 300. Like still too much.
Super used, still $300.
And I found it then as a PDF for free, and because I never had it in my hands, but I heard about it when I was younger, because some of my friends who I played D&D with said, there exists a book in the universe, in our universe, where you can, where you have the measurements about the penises from the different races.
That's the book.
And that's forbidden. It's a forbidden book. I say, what? That's a forbidden book where the penis sizes from the different races are. And I was really curious now, who has the biggest penis? Is it the dwarves?
I would think a centaur, dude. They're hung like a horse. I mean, come on.
Cheers for sure. Makes sense. I saw it like a dwarf, like it's maybe.
Well, the giants.
Yeah, the giants, the dragons, but whatever,
dude, imagine. Oh, now I'm inspired. We should make an adventure module that somehow you incorporate a Tarrasque's dick.
Oh my gosh. Oh my dick.
Like, maybe it'd be like that episode of The Boys where like somebody crawls inside the penis hole.
But he's coming. It's so gross.
Like you get lost in a Tarrasque's dick.
It's an ocean of sperm.
I hope you're still listening to our podcast.
It's already wild. 50 minutes in.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we are in. 22 minutes, 23 minutes. Okay, that's fine.
But we, dude, there's other D&D sex and media. Like, I gotta give a shout out to my favorite, as I mentioned on the podcast before, my favorite D&D related movie was Heavy Metal, dude.
Yeah. Oh, Heavy Metal Fact 2.
You got Fact 2
here, yeah.
And as we've discussed, Fact 2 is not my favorite.
I know.
It's still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But the original Heavy Metal from 1981 is the fucking most badass movie.
We watched it last year together.
Yeah, we watched it a couple years ago, and it was super
I think it was last year. I don't know, but whatever. Maybe 2 years ago.
We were still in Grellstrasse. I remember it. Yeah, so.
Okay, whatever. Yeah,
it was a while back. But that's a movie we should rewatch every periodically. It's
a classic. It's a classic.
I was really
it's really sexual, but
I was super drunk the other night and watched a clip off YouTube. And I actually watched there's some new stuff on YouTube about the movie some people have made that delves into the story of the filmmaking. Okay. And I thought it was really interesting that because it's like an R-rated, intentionally overly sexual fantasy movie, but it's from the 80s, early 80s. So it's like, there was nothing like that really done before.
Yeah.
And so all these bands that were famous at the time, apparently when they heard about it and that there's going to be metal music in it, they all really wanted to be in it because they're like, that's so cool.
Yeah,
it's so new.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like this has really been done. And we want to play music for this fucking movie.
Was it really successful in the cinema this time?
I don't know if it was a good in the cinema. It's a cult classic now.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I don't know.
It's a cult. And it was in the 90s already a cult.
Yeah,
you know, like,
for sure.
Everybody in the scene kind of knew it, you know, but just in the scene. So it was a niche thing.
Yeah.
So like...
It still is, though. I mean...
I think, right?
Now, probably more than ever because, you know, it's a bit misogynistic, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which...
yeah, but it's 80s, you know, fuck it.
Got a lot of rad titties and stuff,
Yeah.
so, you know. Yeah.
I love the South Park episode.
Yeah, the South Park episode.
So good.
There's the parody of this.
So good.
And
It's a sweet titties girl.
Yeah, and it makes fun of the over-sexualization in the movie, the South Park episode.
So good.
And so, but there's also in that South. I've heard interviews with those guys about their favorite episodes of South Park, and I think that's like one of their favorites. They said, one of their top 10 favorites that they ever made.
It's a really good one. It's a really good one. It is the one where where Kenny gets on cat piss, right?
Yeah, he gets addicted to cat piss, and then it's like. But it was really funny because the parallel. I started watching heavy metal movie when I was also a teenager, and I started smoking weed.
Yeah,
and so like you'd smoke weed and watch that movie, and that's the first time you're seeing titties, even though they're animated. You're like a young teenager, and you're like baked, and you're like,
for sure,
this is fucking awesome! Holy fuck, I love it! And then that South Park episode makes fun of like if you're a kid doing drugs, and then you go to the heavy metal world is like the metaphor for being tripping on drugs, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's so
Kenny
fucking
is so
brilliant.
funny, man. On his Cadillac,
And he's cheesing his balls off. Yeah. Huffing cat piss to get high, but that's what I mean. Like that.
Red Rocket. I know that was the other.
That was different. Yeah.
That was the other one. That was with the dogs, right?
But that's why this movie's made its way into the pop culture consciousness. But it's like a D&D movie. Like,
totally, with all the monsters. It's like not as completely it's sci-fi, but there's also so many fantasy elements inside. You know, so
well, it's a compilation of different little stories and. One of my favorite ones was Den, and Den is like about this kid who
it's short movies in a row.
They're little stories, and so Den goes. It's one about a kid who then goes to a D&D style fantasy universe, and his own mind is still there, but he's in this big buff warrior fighter guy body. And then he goes and has sexual adventures with this queen who's super hot, and like so that was always my favorite one. But that's what I mean. Like that really is like the prime example of the fact that like Dungeons and Dragons and medieval fantasy and this like you know this this love of sexuality that blossoms when you're a kid and then slowly withers away as you fucking age, but you still always hang on to it. It always is like, you know, they're together, and that little clip, that story, like that's the highlight of it.
It's so cool, you know, like this thing with AD&D and sex is, as I said, that it's so often like silly in your mind, you know, feeling like, and then you make jokes about. But since I played with you, and that's like 5-6 years now. Okay, I played with you like 4 years maybe, or 5 years?
Yeah, I think we've been gaming about 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years together.
We've been gaming for 4 years. Did you buy me flowers?
Oh gosh, I want to quit now. The thing is, when I play with you as a dungeon master, when you are a dungeon master, or even when I'm the dungeon master and you are the player, sex is always a theme, you know, or sex is always there, you know, like you play it sexual, but in a super funny, cool way. And sometimes that gets silly, but not in this, you'd be ashamed. No, you just want to have sex, you know, like, and you love boobies and you just shout it out. And in the beginning, it was like, oh, is he a sexist or something? And then I asked you about that also, you know, like, and we had a discussion.
But
and I figured out, whatever, you just want to have sex and you love girls. So that's it. You're not homo, okay? Whatever, you know, like, so you just like
But
girls,
I do play one on TV.
Is it so?
No, I don't know. I have my DMPC right now. My Bard, he's gay.
You're the NPC?
Yeah, the Svenvolio the Bard.
Ah, for sure. Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I don't dog on it. He's a regular dude. He happens to be gay.
But it's so funny. Also, I talked to Laura, to my wife today, about this topic. And she said, that's one of Jake's favorite topics for sure. Then he can talk about boobies. And I say, yeah, we will talk about boobies for sure once.
Yes, let us talk extensively about boobies and continue to entice the listeners to continue listening to us. 2 40-year-old men talking about boobies. Yes.
That's Jake.
Well,
me Flo.
You know, there's podcast Jake and there's not talking on the podcast Jake.
Cheers. Oopsie. You are now in the open space.
I tend to talk a little more about boobies, like not when I'm just broadcasting myself to the public.
I'm so sorry.
Crazily enough.
Yeah. Cut.
Cut. Okay. Is it off? Okay. So here's what I'm about tits, dude.
Yeah.
Oh shit! We didn't fucking turn it off. Never mind.
But the thing is, to come back to the point, is like playing with you or have you as a DM. Sex is not really silly. It's also not serious, you know. It's just
part
like
of your
fun.
character.
It's just like fun, you know, and it's also part of your character because it's part of the normal life.
Because it's real.
Yeah, and it's also that real in the ADD world. And that makes it so fun. You know, like, for example, Rico, my main character in your world, my turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy.
Yeah, Turtle.
Turtle. And
even though it's second edition, I'll let you have a turtle. That's right. I'm a good DM.
And
you do what you want.
You know, and I always fucked shoes as turtle do. You know, like,
yeah, your turtle character fucked shoes. Because you had a pet turtle who always fucked your shoes.
And that's what turtle do always, you know, like not only my turtle, but turtles in prison, kind of, you know, like pet turtles fuck shoes because they are sick. And they try to fuck something, you know. Like,
see, folks, you're learning some zoological knowledge on this fucking podcast. We're dropping the science. Now you know turtles fuck shoes.
Let's animals alone, please. And
you're the one who had the fucking pet turtle.
Yeah, I got it as a gift from my father when I was 18.
Oh, damn, I see. Okay.
So I kept it. Still it went away. As a turtle do.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I had it since like 18 years or something.
I hope you made a very nice shoe.
Yeah, he made 2. And I fuck, as Rico, I fucked shoes. And then I met Shelly, you know, and I fucked her.
That's a DMPC that I had. So my DMPC and your PC had the sex.
Yeah,
it was hot. It was on the back of a giant turtle spaceship.
Yeah, man. It was so sci-fi. It was so good.
Sci-fi turtle sex, homie.
Yeah, I banged
Raphael. Eat your heart out.
So that's Shelly from the Überraschungseck.
Shelly. There's a South Park reference for you.
And that is Rico, as you maybe can see on my Insta also.
Yeah, it's probably better to look up Insta.
Yeah, look it up on the Insta. But that was a good sex story, you know? Like, it was super fun, and it was kind of silly, but...
Yeah, but we made it a little silly.
Yeah.
Because it is funny.
Yeah, but it was on top of a spaceship, you know? So it was
kind of it's romantic. You're flying across the stars.
And I also still was in the romantic mode, you know? Like, I love Shelly so much, so blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and
it was my first time having sex.
Yeah, you're role-playing a teenage
Ninja Turtle. So I had the first time real sex, not a shoe.
He's 19, it's legal.
Yeah. In the US also. Also 21.
Yeah, it's state by state, but I think
as NoFX said in the in vanilla sex, you know, when you read through the whole text is like you forbid me to watch porn.
Each some states are fucked.
So stupid. Man.
But anyway, like the thing is with the sex and as the characters, I just think like. It's something I never paid attention to when I was younger making D&D characters and campaigns. But the thing is, when you get older, this is like a thing when you're playing the games too, imagination games. This is a noted thing. The younger you are, you tend to go towards violence.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you tend to go more towards sex. So if you play, we played it in a Ren fair, like a circle, and you could tell the younger people, you'd say, what do you do if this happens? And then they'd be like, we
punch him.
we stab the knave and stuff. And then it's like,
sense, yeah.
what do you like? Like, I want to. The older guys be like, I would like to sleep with a mermaid or something. You know? But like your mind, your imagination as you mature gets a little more sexual.
Blah, blah,
And I also just like that reality because in real life, every human being has a sexual part of themselves. Even asexual people have some sort of sexuality thing going on, I think. Like, or even if it's a philosophical thing. Is the absence of it mean that it's there? I don't know. Either way, there's something going on with people's sexuality.
But asexuals, they don't.
Maybe but not having a sexuality is a state of sexuality, right? It's like your category.
I mean, I know a person who is asexual. He has nothing to do with sex at all. You know,
then that's still a thing.
Yeah, but
like that's still a sexual way of being is asexual. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's your thing.
Yeah, okay.
You role play if you're playing a character. That's a question you ask. Yeah. Are they asexual? Are they homosexual? Are they like into shoes? You know, that's like what you're. It's part of role playing. It's like when you're asking questions about the character and you're building your character. And you're saying, what's their favorite food? What's their favorite color?
Or what's their gender? You know, like for example, Laura don't like to have like a specific gender so often with her character, so she make it so often.
Maybe you should clear up. Let's clarify for the 100th time on this goddamn podcast when you just drop your wife's name.
Laura,
she's his wife.
Shout out to Laura.
That's what we need to explain to listeners, camera dude.
Super good.
You're just like
and these and these and these, and
then you'd be like. Then Horatio told me, and I'm like, okay, let's clarify who Horatio is. What the fuck is this? Like, nobody knows. These people you know. I don't know.
What is that name come from?
I don't know. I thought that was an imaginary elephant you masturbated to.
When he was Bosch, you mean?
But yeah, like, but that's one thing. The question of like gender and sexuality, these are just as basic of character building questions that you can explore in the role playing world. As what their favorite food is, as what their earliest memories are, as what their traumas are. You know, it's going into that character development, and I just think it's super fun to explore the sexuality, and especially during a campaign. Yeah. But here, this brings me to my next kind of point of the discussion. You know, every gaming table is so different with the people assembled at it that like going to the place of sex is like. It's different for every group.
Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not possible, sometimes it's silly, sometimes it's serious. You know, like it's so different for sure.
Because we're good friends, we can do it. Yeah. And we know each other, so we know, you know what I mean? But like, I Googled it and I checked out some YouTube videos as well from some content creators, and it's a big discussion. Like, and people are saying, here's how to handle it, and here's what you do, here's what you don't do. And what it all boiled down to, what I got from every individual thing people were saying is like, just like you would in any other fucking social situation, it's the exact same. Like if you're at a group of, if you're hanging out at a bar with a bunch of people you don't know, there's certain shit you're not going to talk about right away. If it's really good friends you hung out with for 10 years, you're going to act differently. Yeah. So it's same at a gaming table. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I love that we have a good enough gaming group and a good enough friend circle and a friendship amongst each other that like
there's a trust.
We can talk about this stuff and we know the boundaries and limits. Yeah. But when you're a new group and you don't know anybody,
for sure.
You know, then
it's weird, and then it's maybe like, oh my god, what's going on with this guy? You know, like, oh, you don't know, and it's just like embarrassing. You know, like, okay.
Like, why did this guy just say his dwarven thief pulled out his cock? Does this guy want to pull out his cock and he's like role playing it?
Should I be afraid now? Should I go home?
No, it's my dwarven thief. It's my dwarven thief. It's not me. I don't want to pull out my cock. It's my
dwarven thief. That's my dwarven.
No. I call him dwarven thief. There he is. Oh shit! That was very inappropriate.
I call him Bilbo.
Bilbo, because he's huge.
Oh, I call him Dildo.
Dildo fraggins.
No, that's so stupid.
Stop with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Jesus Christ!
I think it's break time. No, it's not. 7 minutes. Damn it. Yeah. It's the first time that I checked the time. Normally, you do.
I think that's a really cool discussion. Honestly, I think. Because reflecting on our own, just like the way, like you're saying, I love having sexual relationships with the characters I have, and Also periodically checking in. We've had the same gaming group for 3 years, which is badass, by the way. And I love
21, 22,
figuring out
24,
like what is going on with these characters' sex lives. They've been adventuring for 2 months in game time. Like,
it's just 2 months.
2 months in game time, 3 years in real time.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those campaigns. But like, then it's like, after 2 months of traveling with a group of people,
you want to fuck?
You're going to be, what are you thinking about with sexual? Like, are you jacking off every night? Like, what, in the camp? Like, or what? What's going on? That's what I'd be doing in the real world.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a teenage mutant ninja turtle, so I want to fuck every day, like so often now in one day, that's why I fuck shoes. So, but now I have Shelly and now I'm a big love, but I still want to fuck shoes, so I'm just a teenage mutant ninja turtle.
And
so.
I have a DNPC. So what's fun is like in your campaign, you mentioned my character Darkfeather Raven's Eye.
Mm-hmm.
Let's show her off for a minute. Yeah. This is one I painted. And she's rad.
She fucked these.
She's a very sexual elven diviner. She like can read fortunes and stuff.
She fucked him.
She fucked this. That was a fun thing where we me and another player.
Felix, maybe from the other episode.
We had fun because we were both players, but we're friends, so we were comfortable. We had the fun times having the sex as characters.
Yeah. A big orgy.
But on the other hand, so that's when I'm a player, and I noticed like when I'm a player, I like to really mess around with the character sexuality.
Play it out. Yeah.
But when I'm a DM, so I have a DMPC that's a gnome, and I decided let's like go completely the direction. That dude does not want to have sex because he's very traumatized. Yeah, so his history was he got kidnapped by a dryad and became a sex slave because I don't know how 5th edition is with you kids, but like 2nd edition, the dryads take you as a slave for their desires, quote unquote, like from paraphrasing from the book, but like they take a slave for their desires. So he was like unwillingly kind of in sexual bondage to this creature for a year. And it kind of traumatized him, and then he doesn't really want to do it. So it's sort of like mirrors the real world idea that if you have some sexual trauma, then you're reluctant to try out
avoid
the
any sexual
life,
thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that's where I was going with him. But that's what I mean. I want to explore that. I want to have that be part of the game. I want to play it out. I want it to be like part of the character's thing that you're exploring when you're exploring character.
And I always think about like, and that's why I said to you, bring Byron with you today, your Byron mini. It's a character who he's playing in a campaign of in my world, but we play it not so often. And when I thought about sex, I had to think about Byron immediately because he's a sexy motherfucker, but he has a wife, but the wife died. He has a kid. He is like a family guy.
He's only like charisma 10 though.
Yeah, but still,
but he's built. He's strength 18.
Yeah, but we think about him like he is really, really cool. Like a cool guy. Maybe just because he's black. Where's some shit going on here?
Well, he's a black guy, but he's also like, and he's a human. But he's his whole story is that he's a Byronic hero. That's why I named him Byron. Because like there's a very It's a common name for African Americans in the U.S. to be Tyrone.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I was like, but I want to be a Byronic hero. So Byron, Tyrone, Byron. That's why I named him.
Yeah.
But he's a wizard, and his whole thing, he's a vampire hunter. He's a vampire necromancer. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be like, usually the characters I play, whether I'm on stage improvising with my improv troupe, or I am just playing a D&D character, I tend to be flamboyant and crazy and loud and outgoing. And I wanted to try and experiment with something different. I'm like, what if he's kind of just like a stone cold dude? And I modeled him after Tom Lister Jr., this actor who I think he died a few years ago, but like he's a very tall and kind of like serious. He was casted in a lot of like kind of serious roles, and he's like a very stolid guy. And I wanted that to be like a Byronic hero who doesn't talk much, kind of quiet,
a little bit depressed also because of this traumatizing thing, right?
What they call a tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, for sure. That's what he is. You know, like, but when I think about your character Baron, I always think about a sexy guy. You know, like he's a sexy guy. You know, like even if his charisma is just 10, I always think like, yeah, man, he has so much character, he has so much history inside of him. So if I were gay, I want to bang him, you know, like, or even if I'm a girl, yeah, I want to bang him, you know, like, so he's sexy. So he's sexy as fuck, you know, so.
Yeah, he's a tall, dark, and handsome type.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, and you play him like that, you know, like, so.
Yeah, because then he's just like, you know, he doesn't really speak unless, like, you know, there's something that really needs to be said. Unlike me in the real world, I will just speak without anything that needs to be said. I have to talk right now. Jesus Christ, what am I thinking about? There's just semiotic with it. Peanut butter, dogs, the color blue, fuchsia, cyan. That's what's in my head right now.
Okay, cool. Where we are? Sex. Sex with boys. I know what?
Maybe peanut butter and dogs is a bad thing to say because then it makes it sound like you put peanut butter on your balls and have dogs lick it off. If you're talking about sex.
Yeah, let's talk about sex. What's on your list? Or maybe we have a break. Yeah, we have a break now. It's 45 minutes. That's
okay,
perfect
cool,
time
dude.
for a break. So,
you know
break
what?
time. Thanks, Michael.
I have I have a very good sex question for you about D&D coming up. But I'm almost tempted to ask it right now, but that'll give you time to think about it. And I want it to be off the top of your head. We'll take a little pause. And
what is here before the pause? It's always something you have something to say before the pause.
You know, it's always off the top. I like to spontaneously say something to launch us into the pause. Yeah. So,
say something mean. Come on.
I don't know. Should it be like a sexual thing?
Yeah, for sure. We talk about sex.
I know what I would say. You ever seen The Never Ending Story?
Yeah.
There's like this rock biter guy.
Oh, I love it.
And he goes, "They look like big, strong hands, don't they?" But I'm going to take a little bit of a different twist on that. I think before the pause, I would say, "They look like big, gangly balls, don't they?"
And now I have to pee.
And we're back. Hey. Welcome back.
Slash.
Yeah.
Episode 13.
There's a little pause.
Season 2.
Little pause for your brain. After the pause. What?
But for my brain too.
Oh, yeah.
Just for my brain. For nothing else. Again, nothing happens like the last time.
Yeah, normally we have a pee break, but we didn't have to pee this time.
So I still have the same beer in my head.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah,
we are professionals. We can just...
We got too professional.
We can run through 1.5 hours now. Wow. Like in school.
Well, after the pause, we like to do the German word of the day because I'm from the U.S., Flo is from Germany, and we like to then do a little culture exchange for you, where we...
Especially for you.
We have a D&D word of the day.
Yeah, cool.
What's the word today?
Today?
Yeah, what is it?
Do you start with English word or I start with the German word?
I should start with the English word, but I forgot what it is already.
Okay, then I start with the German word. I forgot to. No, wait. Liebeszauber.
Oh, a love spell.
Oh,
Liebeszauber.
Yes, love spell. So
love spell.
You know, because of sex, and there are the witches and the wizards who can spell and have this love spell and can make you love.
Yeah, like the
them, you know, or
the movie Love Potion number 9. Love Potion number 9. First, it was a hit song in like the 50s or 60s. I forget.
Was it David Bowie or what was it?
No, it was like I don't know, some 80s movie.
Okay, but Liebeszauber, love spell. So
Liebeszauber.
Liebeszauber, love, Liebe, love, Zauber, spell. Easy German for you.
Yeah, my name.
Good.
Prost. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that's a good question because like that launches me directly into a question I have for you.
Oh,
do you think like charm spells are a little bit like rapey?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, not even a little bit.
Yeah, like they're very explicitly.
They're just like for raping. You know, like it's fucking.
Like you're tricking someone into being attracted to you.
Yeah.
That's like seems like unethical.
Yeah. When you switch it around to the real world, it's just a rape spell. You know, like what the fuck.
You're just gaining power over
like
someone.
vampires. You know, like what they doing with that? You know, like for example, the movie or the book Dracula.
Yeah.
And he charmed like the girls, blah, blah, for what? You know, like to sucking their blood out and then have their slaves, sex slaves. So, you know, like that's what Dracula kind of does, you know, like, and yeah, that's what sex.
So you can't really be like a good character and like use charm in really a full capacity.
Listen, Caro.
She tricks guys into falling in love with her, but then she just doesn't do anything with them.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I mean. Then it's fine.
It's fine.
Like, then you leave. You're just like, okay, now you like.
Shout out to Caro. Caro's the other player in other group.
We have to tell people, right? What flow means.
Yeah.
The person he's talking about now that you've never heard of. So
I think so. Yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, so charm spells, I feel like that's a big part of like D&D sexuality because of that reason. That like, but to have this magical charm thing, if you use it in like a very small dose, like where you just like, oh, somebody likes me, you charm the guard, and then they give you access to the castle, and then you're like, thanks, dude, and then you're out. Yeah. That's a thing.
Or just let you go, whatever, you know.
Yeah, but like if you're like using it to the full extent of the charm, like the vampires do, that is fucked. Like, that's
totally. For sure.
That is.
Sure. And there's the goddess, and that's what I wanted to talk about from this book, you know, not only from this book, but the goddess and the Forgotten Realms, Sune or Sune, I think in English it's called, or she's called, and she is a goddess of love and sexuality in D&D. Second edition, Forgotten Realms. She is super hot, super sexy picture from her.
We can find it. We don't want dead air. Jesus Christ. Do you mark the page?
Yeah. You can talk something. It's here.
One time in band camp. Oh no. That is a 90s reference, dude. If you got that, then
camp.
Welcome back, dude. 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Or no, that movie came out in 1999.
Where's your flute?
I stuck a flute up my pussy.
Yeah.
One of the best lines of any movie ever made.
And then there was like,
Oh, there you go. Right? That's soon.
Yeah. That's soon.
Show the picture camera.
So, picture camera. Soon. It's with a red one, like looking like a cobra a little bit. That's soon here where my finger is now. And yeah, she's the love goddess. But also Lyra looks super hot. All of the people are looking super hot, especially.
Now that everybody can see it. Now it's just like this is our private,
Everyone looks super hot here, especially this one where my.
They're gods and goddesses. Gods and goddesses have always been hot. Like every. Unless they're evil.
Especially this one with eye tyrant on his head. He looks so stupid.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah. So, but soon it's like this love goddess, and when you are into being a priest of her, I don't know, it's kind of boring, you know, because it's always like, oh yeah, everybody has to have sex with each other.
That doesn't sound boring at all.
No, but
sounds like you're boring.
Yeah, but now it's like this and love each other, you know. It's not just sex, but also love.
It's like a pacifism religion.
Yeah,
playing a pacifist religion priest is that can be a challenge for DM and player alike.
I mean, I tried right now as Rico also to be pacifist, kind of, you know.
Oh, and I took that and rolled with testing your limits on that one, pal.
Yeah.
How much evil bullshit from the humans do you want to put up with without thinking maybe I should intervene?
Yeah.
No, if somebody's doing this to another human being.
And I did, right?
Yeah, no, you did. But yeah, it's still going for the KO instead of the kill, so that's cool. Like, but here's the thing, dude. I want to ask you a question. I will tell you mine after you tell me yours. I'm going to do a little callback here. Our episode 2. Check it out if you want. Nice. Episode 2, we did our top 10 favorite monsters, right?
Yeah, it was one of my favorite ones.
Top 10.
And also, what was the name? Goblin.
Goldie. Goblin.
He or she also loves this episode a lot.
Oh, that's cool, man. Shout out to you, dude. Thank you so much. Yeah, anybody who loved that, we love you. And if you haven't heard it, check it out because it's also one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It was our second episode, but it was well done. And here's the thing, dude. I want to do a call back to that. Instead of doing the top 10 favorite monsters, I want to ask you, what are your top 5 sexiest Dungeons and Dragons monsters or races?
I see where you're going. Okay. Let's start
Top
by
5.
number 5. Number 5 is...
top of your head. Go.
Number 5 is maybe it's a vampire as a girl.
Female vampires.
Female vampires.
I don't have that on my list, but now that you said it, it should be. That's fucking hot.
Sexy.
But they're rapey. We just established that.
I want to be raped by a girly vampire. Why not?
As my teacher told me in 7th grade when the Nirvana album In Utero came out with the song Rape Me, you can't be consensually raped.
I know, it's true. It's always against your will.
Because we loved that song, and she was like, kids, don't listen to that song. That Kurt Cobain's no good. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay, wrap it on. Number 4, and it's really not that I thought about that before, but number 4, it's maybe a centaur.
A centaur?
Yeah, because just like, I don't know, it's weird.
This is fucking weird. Because you want to fuck horses in the real world, and so you're like,
no, I don't get it. I just want to try.
You think centaur is your number 4? You think it's the sexiest?
I don't know, but the sexy girl in the front,
a sexy girl in the front, and
maybe that's number 5 and 4 is vampire. But I don't know.
Our friend that you mentioned, Caro, has the sexy centaur woman.
Yeah, right. You know, like
so we have a fellow player who has a centaur woman character.
So, then there is this tiger, a were tiger girl. It's super cool, super hot. You know, like
the were tigers. Yeah. And the picture, the illustration of it in. I know you have it like recreated there, but keep on thinking. I'm just gonna show the picture.
I know my 2 and my 1 already. So.
You do?
Yeah, for sure.
You have it already?
Yeah.
Let me show the were tiger. This is the were tigress. Meow.
Meow. Oh no! Other side. It's no.
How does this work, dude?
Yeah, opposite.
I don't understand.
It's like a mirror.
Okay, look, this is the lycanthrope were tiger. This is AD&D 2nd edition were tiger. That's pretty hot. Yeah, I know this like thing like of cats.
Then keep it up. Then you can show
what
off
else you got,
the dryad.
The dryad?
The dryad. You know, because
maybe you said it correctly. I don't know.
Dryad. You know, it's a really, really hot.
The dryad. Yeah, super hot. It's like this tree spirit. That's pretty cool, man. And that artist.
And that, of course, and you had it already open there. It must be the nymph.
The nymph. Oh, that's number 1.
You're getting blind there and blah blah to fucking her. To see her and you can die. Blah, blah.
It's one of the insta kill monsters where, like, if you see her naked, you can. If you fail save, you automatically die.
Whatever, you know. So then the nymph, of course.
Nympho.
Centaur make me weird now. Whoa. Centaur makes me really like sitting like weird.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I got a question to centaur. Like the rest of it all makes sense, but I don't know.
Maybe it's a swan.
Because you can ride on the centaur.
And I think
like a horse.
It's like really interesting. You know, like,
it's really the idea of a horse's vagina is just fascinating.
Oh God. How you call it in English? You know, like when you fuck with animals or with other things.
Bestiality?
No, but there's this main thing. It's like sodomy, right? That's sodomy.
That's when you fuck a butthole.
Yeah, but I think in the English, or maybe it's in the German area, it's like
you flinch when I said that.
I think it's sodomy you call it, or it was like back then in the early days you called it all sodomy, and it was like against the law also to fuck animals, to fuck.
I don't know the history of the word sodomy, although
whatever.
It's quite interesting.
What's your 5?
My top 5. I actually now really I'm like
sodomy.
What is this? I don't know. Like I want to know. Let's Google it after the show.
Yeah.
My 5. Okay, so number 5, dude, tiefling. I know.
Okay, it's the 2nd edition.
It is. I know, right?
Yeah,
so here's the thing. Because we learned this again on the podcast. This is why I love doing this podcast. I learn stuff about D&D.
Both learn. Not only him.
No, but
even if he's in the middle of all of that, you know. Like,
I thought you already knew everything.
Cheers.
You son of a bitch! You lied. So
I know everything about the second edition. It's boring to sit here with you. I just make it for my money. Give me your money.
Yeah, this sweet Patreon money.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on Patreon. Check it out.
$3 per month.
Please give us money.
Give us more.
We can't. This beer doesn't buy itself.
Okay, for me it does. I don't know how. Again and again, the bag is full. Fucking word.
It's like a beer bag of holding. So
I want that.
The tiefling dude was invented in 3rd edition.
Oh, yeah.
Or 2nd edition. It was 2nd edition.
I wanted to ask what's 3rd edition.
A friend told me that in the Planescape setting, this was 2nd edition is the edition of D&D that ran the longest without being turned into another edition. It went from 1989 to 2001, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it's about that.
I have it in my notebook.
There was all these different
makes sense.
Campaign settings they kept coming out with.
Yeah,
and that's how they kept it alive, is like, keep making money off of it. But Planescape was one of the later ones. That came out like after my time, actually. It was like in the late 90s. And then a friend that I was actually on my Facebook, which isn't my Insta is totally public, so please follow me, but my Facebook's just for my personal friends. And so there was
don't follow him there.
Don't follow me there. Although I do have my musician page on Facebook. Follow that.
Follow us everywhere.
Follow my really superficial Facebook page where I say, come see my shows. But don't try and be my friend.
Okay, what's with tieflings?
He said to me on the Facebook, this dude said, hey, dude, did you know? And he gave me this fucking like Planescape breakdown thing. That's why I hate Facebook. Everyone's so arrogant on it. But like, so I still learned something. He said the tieflings were invented in second edition in the Planescape setting. So I always thought of them as this 5th edition, later edition thing.
That? When was it?
It was I don't know which one.
Yeah, but not long ago.
We mentioned it and so
people, let us know if you figured out where we talked about that.
If you do, like, you're crazy.
Because my brain is.
Why would you?
My brain is
nitpick on
damaged.
that detail. Why would you nitpick on that detail? So the thing is,
I'm just crazy.
I'm just crazy. The tieflings are from 2nd edition. Yeah, they were invented in 2nd edition.
Okay, cool. But you love the tieflings, so it's a 5th. So what's your 4th?
But here's why tieflings are hot, though.
Yeah, they are pretty hot,
dude. In the 5th edition, they have charisma bonus, like, because they're so hot and they're so fucking badass. And in Baldur's Gate right now, I'm doing my 2nd playthrough, and I'm playing as a sexy ass bard tiefling because I love that shit.
You know, like, do you know these erotic porn that was?
Yes, I know erotic porn.
You know, and there was this one where girls
still didn't flinch.
Girls still have tails or something like that. Als Frauen noch Schwänze hatten.
Okay.
So that's tieflings, you know, like.
They have the prehensile tail. Imagine you got horns. The horns. There's something about like this demonic like thing. Sure. It's very like it's really dominatrixy,
Slaneshi, you know, like Slanesh is in the 40K universe, or even in the Warhammer universe. You don't know.
No,
you would love
Slanesh.
But also like Warhammer, it's not also fantasy. Slanesh is one of the goddess and one of the 4 chaos gods, and Slanesh is like the sexy or like the sex god, you know, like for pleasure. But they have this sex demons, and they're looking really like these tieflings kind of.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
But sometimes with lobster jaws and something like that. So weird. And purple skin, you know, like, so it's different.
I might still be into it. I don't know. You know, I don't judge.
I have to show you the Slanesh stuff. You will love it. You will
show me the Slanesh.
It's really
show
gross.
Me your Slanesh.
It's also like SM style, you know, like it's
that's
really,
the tieflings have this like kind of they have a bit of a bondage undercurrent, you know.
Yeah.
But there's this the whole thing about Satanism and like sexuality with like how it is like the image of a demon is kind of like this something that really evokes sexuality in us, and that's why the Christians are afraid of it and stuff. Is like the tiefling is that it's so cool, and that's why they have the plus charisma because this Mephistopheles, you know, like this,
1 or 2 plus or.
I don't know. I think it's +2. They're very generous with the pluses in the 5th edition.
I mean, elves are also really sexy, you know, but whatever.
We'll get there.
Come to there. Okay, of course.
Let's go to number 4 before we get to the elves.
Yeah, before we go to the end of the
number
episode.
4 is Cyrene.
I forgot them.
Yeah.
What was that again?
They are like the Cyrene. Is this? I didn't mark the pages either. The Cyrene.
The
Cyrene is
sing for you a song at the Cyrene.
Fortunately, I'm intimately familiar with this book more than I should be, and so I know where everything is. But this is the Cyrene.
Yeah.
And how hot is that? Look at that.
Yeah, Cyrene is super hot.
And that's like a siren.
Yeah.
The Greek mythology siren.
Yeah.
You know, and
they are singing so loud that you're getting
yeah, they sing. It's like it's based off of the sirens from Greek mythology, but the sirens of Greek mythology were like a lot more like harpies. They had like half bird body, and I think
like I have there. Right?
Yeah, but this one's like full on. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid and I bought the Monster Manual, there's like various sexy monster humanoids in there, the Dryad, as you mentioned, and stuff. But for some reason, that image, that picture, that monster in particular, when I bought that book when I was 13 years old, I was like, that one is the hottest.
Yeah, really? It's hot night?
Yeah, because it's just basically like a fucking swimsuit model. It's like Kathy Ireland right there, you know?
Yeah, but
super 90s reference there.
Just like a human.
It's a human with blue skin.
With blue skin, so kind of boring, kind of.
A little boring,
so,
little vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla. God, so often we have now the reference from X-Men.
Yeah, no,
so nice. I love it. Thanks for that.
It's a bit of a vanilla image, but I loved Greek mythology growing up and stuff.
Totally,
so I was really into the siren thing. I'm like, that's what a siren. I didn't know the bird connection stuff, but like I'm like, that's what a siren would look like. That's super cool. Anyway, so also then my number 3 is your number 1.
The nymph.
The nymph.
Really?
Yeah, the nymph.
3.
My nymph.
Okay.
Yeah, because I love the idea of this the power of sexuality that this woman has.
Yeah.
Where like just because of how fucking sexy she is, she can kill you.
The thing is, we both are like heterosexual males, you know, like
heterosexual males. Yeah.
So we are just talking about girls all the time. I mean.
But I like the idea. That brings me to something I wanted to mention, and I almost forgot, is that all these characters, all these creatures,
can be female,
can be male. And I love the
nymph's not really, right?
But here's the thing: a creative DM.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, for sure. You can
in the stupid in these rules of the second edition, because second edition is a little antiquated in terms of its flexibility for sexuality and its heteronormativity. But if you're just living in the modern era and you want to play second edition, you could have a fucking male nymph
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
why not?
Everything's possible. Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure.
all these creatures, we're talking from our own perspective, folks, but like they could all be guys.
Totally
They
fine.
could all be guys.
Or both, like transsexual also possible, you know, like whatever.
Yeah, like if I had a DM who said you can't have a nymph male, I'd be like,
that's so nice with a new game, Baldur's Gate. That is so transsexual, you know. Like, it's so good, you know. Like it's not just male and female, so it's like really all genders. So, and that's what I love about 5e. Some of the hardcore fans of D&D don't like it because it's like too politically correct.
Yeah.
So, but I like it.
There's some stuff I don't like about it because of that, but I do like that part.
Yeah, you know, I don't like the Gesinnungen.
Getting rid of alignment and stuff.
You know, that's what I don't like.
And orcs are good.
Yeah,
like
fuck that.
Yeah.
But I like that you can play any sex.
Yeah,
It makes it's okay to be black, be white, be a mixture, be having a female or male or a mixture or whatever.
And so why not have like a gay nymph man who is like
why not
charming the pants off other human males?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like
now we're talking. 21st century stuff.
No, it's totally cool.
So,
I mean, like, that's a good point, dude. And thanks for bringing that up because, like, I fully, it's good to acknowledge that we're like so old school because we're white heterosexual males.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we also like acknowledge and also respect and also kind of, I personally want there to be more stuff in D&D that's for everybody. So
for sure.
there's got to be
every kind of sex is whatever.
There's got to be male nymphs.
I don't care who fucks with whatever.
I'll fuck a male nymph.
So,
Wait, sorry, take that back.
So the most important thing is that everybody loves each other, whatever, you know, like, but that's hippie shit. So what's your?
No, it's good.
It's true.
It's important that everybody loves each other.
Yeah, but just make it in like it.
The hippie shit's good sometimes.
In the second line, and then I want to go back to your top
next
5.
one, number 2. Can you guess it?
So that wasn't him. It's a. You don't. Oh, it's an elf. Yeah. Okay, that's a druid. Okay, wait. Okay, as a swan mate.
Think about me.
You
in the real world.
Okay.
And the things I like to do, and the things I do as activities.
Of course, I know it. It's mermaid.
Yeah. That's right.
Nice.
Number 2 is a mermaid.
There was an animal side of you.
I love mermaids.
You know,
I love mermaids.
I love horses.
I love fish women. Okay.
Fair enough.
I'm humble. It's true. Okay. I shouldn't have talked so much shit about your love of horse people.
You would stink like fish now.
I love mermaids, dude. They're fucking hot.
Where's the pussy?
That's been a question that's been asked to me so much.
Yeah.
And
sorry to be sexual.
The answer is wherever you want it to be. It's a fucking fantasy character, dude.
True.
Like, where in your imagination is it?
Yeah.
There's no canon that's established it.
Scales anywhere, whatever. Yeah.
That's like people who say like Ariel can't be black. It's like, fuck you. Mermaids are whatever you want them to be, homie.
Yeah,
the pussy's wherever you imagine.
Okay. It's fantasy. Oh, nice.
It's a fantasy creature.
I know where you go.
I'll leave it to your imagination where I think the pussy.
Oh no, we don't want that. Oh God, go out of their heads, dude.
And number 1 is an elf.
Yeah,
number 1.
Yeah.
Elves are like the
the sexiest thing ever. You know, like for sure. Yeah, for sure. I know what you mean.
But because they're humans that like are just hot,
just perfect.
They're just sexually hot.
Perfect, you know, like.
But here's the thing. I wanted to ask you. I want to lead into this other question. Do you? Oh yeah. Okay. I want to show off my elf chick I did.
And my elf chick is also here. Wait.
This is
from Hero Quest.
This one is the one I painted, and this is Kinara. She's a Dark Sun inspired elf, like so a tall kind of jungle elf. But I got this off Hero Forge, dude. I went full on custom for this. This is my DM NPC.
No one can hear you, I think.
Oh, you're right. No one can hear me. Fuck. We got to work that out.
And I have here a Hero Quest Mini. And she's super sticky because Hero Quest Minis sucks. You have to wash them before.
No one can hear you now.
But that is an elf girl. And special shout out to Jack McDungeon again. Yeah. And she is elfish and whatever. Yeah. No one can hear us.
So she's not an elvish impersonator.
What that means, elvish impersonator?
This is a bad joke.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get it. Sorry.
Elvis impersonator.
God. No, she's not. Yeah, but elves are the perfect humans, you know, like sexy.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing that I wanted to lead into this to ask you, homie. I know that you don't like elves.
They're boring because every cool D&D player don't like elves.
But you do like dwarves.
Yeah, for sure.
But do you think dwarves are sexier than elves?
Of course not, but I don't care. So,
okay.
Because rule of cool, I mean. You know, like, I play the cooler ones, not the sexiest.
So you like dwarves better than elves, but you think elves are sexier than dwarves?
Yeah, when you think of the sex way, for sure. And but not when I'm in the mind of a dwarf, you know, then I think elves are really, really ugly.
Well, yeah, for sure. Dwarves generally, except for that stupid Hobbit movie adaptation where the elf dwarf banging. But
This Hobbit.
yeah,
Shit, man.
it's so shit.
Oh, what's going on there?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
That was your number one, right?
that was my number one.
Yeah. No vampires. That's disappointing, really. Because you love vampires so much.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, they are super sexy, but I think the tiefling was my like dark, sexy thing.
I see. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
I think all 5 of those represented a different thing.
Yeah.
Except for the sirens and the mermaids are pretty repetitive.
I think we have to make it often these countdown stuff. I like that. You know, the top things. You know, like top spell things or something like that. You know, like let's do it for in the future episodes.
But I like springing it on you without.
Yeah, it's
warning.
super cool. Yeah. But
That's what makes things very sexually tension.
It's difficult. Oh.
So I wanted to also discuss a little bit about how things have gotten more sexual in Dungeons and Dragons media. So,
okay,
dude, like last night, I came home.
Yeah.
It was really late.
Yeah.
I should have gone to bed, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I hadn't played Baldur's Gate 3 in
he didn't get
month.
late. He got late.
Late. Are you trying to make a pun on the word late? Okay, we better clarify that for our listeners. Flo has a German accent.
Yeah. If you don't recognize it till now, that's sorry.
You get late. You got late.
Then you didn't listen.
You got late.
But I have a German accent.
Late.
That's German.
I came home late, and I didn't get late.
For me, it sounds the same.
In real life, though,
Yeah.
I did. But in the video game world,
Yeah.
The thing is, Baldur's Gate has all these sex scenes.
But I just late?
Now that's just
Sorry. That's stupid.
Yeah, you're just going down the hole. I mean,
I'm
Jesus
sorry.
Christ.
Yeah, sorry. Don't listen to it.
This podcast is so far down the toilet already. I think you can get farther down the pipes and you just take it there. Oh well.
Sorry.
So
Beavis and Butthead style again.
yeah, this is definitely more Beavis and Butthead than Wayne's World. This one. But like, yeah, dude, I played.
Shout out again to Goldie. Oh man.
I played Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
And I hadn't played in a month because I've been busy as fuck.
Yeah.
But I'm on my second playthrough. My first playthrough, I just like kind of went through the story and like tried to be very much like, okay, let's just role play it, and you know. But after the second playthrough, I'm like, let's just try and unlock all the sex scenes
You
possible.
played it completely through.
Yeah, I beat it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I beat the game a couple months ago.
Crazy.
But I'm on the second. A lot of people do this.
Okay,
because
I don't know.
Dude, the thing about Baldur's Gate 3 is it replicates the Dungeons and Dragons tabletop to a greater extent than any video game ever has, because when you're playing on tabletop, it's totally spontaneous. The imagination of the players and the DM can take the game anywhere. And that's impossible to recreate in the video game world because there's always the programming limits what you do. Yeah. But this
it's an open world, but it's not completely open.
Yeah, you can't. You can just like say, "I'm going to do this." I'm going to just all of a sudden.
It will be maybe in the future like, with AI. You know, like AI.
Maybe so, AI can make it become a DM.
Yeah.
No. But the robots will have destroyed and enslaved us by then. Let's face it.
I see.
But in Baldur's Gate 3, like they really came closer to that than ever in that like the choices you make and the characters you play like it's a completely different video game. It's completely different. Yeah. So in this one, I'm just like, I just looked up on the internet, where are all the bang scenes and how can I get to them? So
in the second
playthrough.
Nice.
Yeah, the first one I played it like a regular game.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm role playing a dwarven barbarian. He's neutral good in my head because you don't have Gazinung. But like I'm like, where am I going?
But the second one is really possible that you just go the sex way.
Try and bang everybody. I'm a bard. I'm a tiefling bard, and I'm a female tiefling bard. I want to fuck everybody.
Nice.
And I want power, and I just want to fuck everybody.
Nice. Okay.
And so and then that changes the game.
Yeah.
It's completely different, dude.
Okay.
So I went down this path where there's like this dark elf named Mitara, and she's a paladin, and this is gonna blow your mind. Second edition paladins are like classic paladins of the real world, where they're like holy knights.
Yeah.
Fifth edition, they can be evil.
Yeah, true. I know that.
It's dumb as fuck. I don't like it.
Yeah, I know.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
Paladin should be good, dude.
It's a black knight. You know, like
dark evil paladin.
Black is evil.
Like,
you know, like,
Yo, in this case, he's also a drow elf, so double racist. But there's an evil drow elf paladin, and I read that like that is the hottest sex scene in Baldur's Gate 3. And last night I found out that it totally is because I got to it.
Oh wow!
It was rad.
Yeah, it was rad.
I love it. Yeah, it was in air quotes. That was not air quotes.
Okay.
Oh
god,
dude,
we are just like 90s kids, man.
It was so cool though.
Yeah.
Like, but here's the thing, dude. It also
before the sexism.
It was a little bit ironic that like we're doing I didn't intend for this. I thought it would take a while to get there. I just happened to I set the game down for a month and then I picked it back up and I happened to get to the sex scene with Mintara. And it was so fucking hot. But like, I was also, then it got my mind thinking about this topic of sex in D&D. And that's what gave me the Roten Fata, the central theme of the discussion we're having here. I was just going all over the place with it till now. But then I thought, dude, like epiphany moment, like, this is a video game about Dungeons and Dragons in 2024, and there's like a full-on sex scene. This woman 69's the shit out of this tiefling's face.
Really, yeah?
It is badass.
Crazy.
Dude, it's hot.
Oh, nice.
But
interesting also.
You think about like the way that D&D was.
I mean, there was also like the sex scene in this Hütte. What's Hütte in English again? The hat.
A hut.
The hut, you know, like with the orc or something. What was it? Where he hear her banging the orc or something.
Oh yeah. In Baldur's Gate 3, there's one where like there's a lot of sex in the game.
So weird. Yeah. Okay. I mean, what means weird, but you know, like in 2022, 2023, all the sex things. Or even in 2015, it was like
no, 2015 it started to open up.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, man. Like, so in the 80s, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, in the 20th century, the sex in D&D was implied by the it wasn't explicit. It was like, you're gonna pick up this book. It's mostly violence. It's young. It's like for kids. So again, as I mentioned before, when you're pubescent kid, like you have all the images, like it's all. But like, and there's the kids cartoon in the early 80s, you know, the D&D kids cartoon. You have some of the figures here with
for sure.
Like, let's show off some of that. It's badass. You got the acrobat here.
Yeah, that's always my classic setup. Is always there, you know. Like I've always my Dungeons and Dragons cartoon and movie characters there.
Yeah, but check our Insta for that because I think this isn't working with. We get off the mic and
whatever.
But yeah, dude, like D&D has grown up. It's 50-year-old, and in the early days, the sex
bring it back to our ages, implicit. Kind of. What?
Well, it was all implicit. It wasn't like, you know, all in the imagery of. There's D&D video games, computer games in the 80s, and no sex at all.
Yeah.
But like Conan, it was there, but that's not explicitly D&D. Sure. Heavy Metal there, but that had no specific D&D. But then like there was 3 D&D movies, and they were all shitty. You know, there was like, and there was the Dungeon Dragon movie from I think 1999 or so, 2000 maybe. Yeah. And then there was like later on, 2006 or so, there was Wrath of the Dragon
and the third one also not.
But the third one, Book of Vile Darkness, that came out in 2011 or 12. Mm-hmm. I forget which, but like that one had a sex scene.
Oh, wow.
Full blown. Okay. So that was when, like in the early 2010s, like the D&D genre started opening up and kind of coming to terms with itself that like, this is a fucking sexy, dude. Like the people that play this, they're imagining sex with their characters and stuff. So they put it into the media. They started to put it, this is 2011 or 12. That is the same time around when Game of Thrones came out.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones then took
totally sex
and was like, boom, it's just fucking, let's take the D&D genre and the sex thing and just like really combine it.
I mean, it comes from the book from, what was his name? whatever. Yeah. So I don't know when he wrote that. Maybe it was way more earlier, but whatever, like, yeah, for sure. It's super, so much sex instead of Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah, but then like a few years after Game of Thrones, like 10 years later or whatever, then you have Baldur's Gate 3 come out, and it's like a video game about D&D that has like some crazy badass explicit sex scenes.
Crazy.
And it shows that like this kind of evolution of sex in Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yeah. Super interesting.
Yeah.
So, but where is a loop of anarchy here?
Here we go. Okay, so I mentioned before why I love the sirens and stuff is because of my love of Greek mythology,
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up like loving Greek mythology. It's so rad, and that's why when there's Greek mythology monsters in D&D, I love them, like the harpy and the Medusa and the sirens.
I have also the book at home, God and Mythology.
Oh yeah,
or something. There was like the Greece and the Egypt and the Indian cults and blah blah.
Oh man.
Super cool. I love that book. Like the real mythological things into D&D. So it's so cool.
I love that book, dude.
This book is so cool
because it translates the gods and into the powers. So like, if Zeus was like, what's his stats? I just fucking love that book. I love that book
so much.
And I love the multiculturalism of it and how it like you can play D&D in any campaign and brings many different cultures from around the world.
But it's also different thinking of D&D, like not completely fantasy. So like bringing the AD&D into our world, kind of, and combine it. So not like Forgotten Realms has his own pantheon.
Yeah, but you showed, But
I
love that the historical campaign idea.
Yeah,
like when you're playing in the real world, but in a historical campaign with some fancy
I never
elements.
tried it. I want to try it maybe, but that's the other topic.
It is. We should do a podcast about that.
It's an interesting topic. But do you want to listen to that?
But dude, the Greco-Roman. So because I was so into Greek and Roman stuff as a kid, when I went to university, I took a Greek studies, a couple classes in Greek studies, and one thing that stuck with me that from so many years ago is when you look at the history of art in Greece and Rome. That in the early days, like when those empires like were first established as big, great empires, well, they're imperial, they're empires. What they do is they go and they fucking murder the living shit out of a group of native people, take that space over, colonize it, and then
it's mine. So
and then they're an empire, Yeah. They commit genocide, they fucking commit massacres, they commit what would today be considered crimes against humanity, which is all still happening anyway. So who gives a fuck, I guess, about that? But like,
more.
Yeah, they would do that, and when they would be in the early days of the empire, a lot of people they think about Greek and Rome about like these nude statues, and they think about nakedity. They think about like the naked fucking Hercules with his penis, and like but. All that stuff in the early days of those empires, their genitals were covered.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but then as you go down the early times, there's a bunch of clothes on them. It's very conservative, the art. And then the middle era, the clothes come off a little bit. And then always right before the fall and the collapse of the empire is when the art gets naked and sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's because it's not illegal anymore, for sure.
Like the decadence, and
sure.
Everyone can do whatever they want.
Yeah, for sure.
Then,
because the king don't have his hand above that, for sure. Yeah.
So like in ancient Greece and Rome, you can actually watch the art progress to right before the collapse. Everyone's naked, and then there's like tits everywhere, and that's what all the stuff we think about when the penises are showing and stuff. That's like the last eras of those empires. When you're thinking of the Hercules statue with the penis, that's like the last part of the Roman Empire.
I see.
In the earlier parts, like he was a big, buff, sculptured, muscular dude, but there was a little cloth covering his genitals. You didn't see the genitals.
Where's the anarchy now?
Well, here you go, dude. Like, so I think that the D&D culture and the culture of medieval fantasy in our own capitalist society reflects the collapse of capitalist society. And that the fact that Dungeons and Dragons, when it was founded in the 70s and 80s, was so conservative with the art and imagery and had no sexuality really in it, even though sexuality is a big part of the fantasy culture.
Yeah. And then
now
satanic panic and all that shit.
Yeah, but now, like, capitalism is collapsing, Western civilization is collapsing, democracy has eroded because it's failed to educate citizens, and democracy can't work with an uneducated populace, and that's when fascism comes in.
That's what happened right now. Again.
That is literally what's happening as we speak.
And even in Germany, in Europe,
especially in Germany.
But in all Europe, so. Yeah.
So it's late stage capitalism. Society's collapsing, and unfortunately, reflecting that is the art of not only all society. Like, nudity is becoming more prevalent in all aspects of art, but Dungeons and Dragons in particular, in this one little kind of subcultural case study, I would say, is like showing that because. But here's the thing, dude. Why I asked you if you like anarchy is because I think that, like, we all, no matter what stage society is in, everyone fucking loves sex. Everyone loves nudity. Everyone loves to fuck.
Yeah.
Not everyone. Asexual people, I love you too.
Yeah. And the Kalutic, the priest don't like to fuck. Just the young boys. But they will not.
They still love to fuck the young boys.
They don't talk about that, and they are just don't fuck in their whole life. So,
they've never banged anyone.
Fuck you, man.
But that's what I mean. Like the idea that because even if you're a very repressed person, like a Catholic priest, you're still fucking someone.
For sure.
In real life or in your head, you're still kind of like thinking about fucking all the time. It's a part of our brain.
You have this Trieb, you say in German, I don't know, Trieb, it's like this thing which makes you go on, like
a drive.
Yeah, a drive. Yes. Yeah, a drive. You have to,
Triebsrad.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a different thing. It's the works council.
Yeah, kind of.
But yeah, dude, like that's more of a funny play on words than I planned, actually.
It's a good one.
Triebsrad. The wheel of Trieb.
It's nice.
Yeah, so anyway. The thing is, dude, like,
everybody wants to have sex. Kind of everybody. Like we can say everybody wants to have sex in this or other way. So yeah, for sure.
But when an imperial system,
because of that's natural, like
exactly.
That's the nature, like eating, shitting, pissing, and fucking, like that's a normal thing to do.
When an imperial society comes and slaughters a bunch of people, like the Romans did to the Celts, for example, with Julius Caesar, and they fucking just murdered a living shit out of a bunch of people and established themselves as this fucking, the power. What they're doing is their art is repressing their sexuality in the same way, at the same time that they're murdering a bunch of people to try and take over. Like, on the U.S. committed genocide on the Native Americans with European immigration, and then they had like a conservatism with their art, and then now the U.S. is like collapsing. It's because it's this idea that when an empire comes in, it's fake, it's false, it's this ego, it's this fucking destructive, horrible, genocidal element that comes in, and the art that is reflected there with people's clothes on is like saying, put your clothes on, we're gonna repress you. If your sexuality is active, we're gonna cut your fucking dick off. Like,
sexuality has too much power, so it's too much against the system, like it's too much freedom. So that's it, so that's what it always was and always is, like also in the 60s, 90s with the hippies and the free culture, like it was the same, like fuck it, we have free sexuality, we just impress ourselves and being naked and whatever, FKK and blah blah comes in, So it was always against the system, against like society and blah blah, because they said whatever, we want to live free, we want to have sex, don't depress ourselves, don't push ourselves in one corner. No, we just want to have love and sex, whatever, it's free.
Yeah,
so that's anarchy. It's true.
And a lot of the early
in a good way,
D&D players were hippies,
Yeah, for sure.
For a reason.
Yeah, for sure. For a reason,
Yeah,
for sure. For sure. So I know. Now I got your point.
But now we're seeing like the erosion of our in the real world, like our society collapsing in the same way Greece and Rome did.
Yeah.
And being
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, I wouldn't cheers to that. I'll just say cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers to you, man.
Although I will cheers that to some extent, because the point is that I'm trying to make is that in anarchy, I think that like sex and freedom and free love is like all already there, and there's no bullshitting and there's no authority trying to tell you to stop doing that.
Yeah.
And so that's why like when an empire comes and commits brutal massacres and genocide to gain power, and then suppresses sexuality and art, and then it's like, oh no, the empire collapsed and everyone's being like sexual again. It's like, wouldn't it be kind of better if like art always reflected the openness of sexuality? If the Dungeons and Dragons movie Book of Vile Darkness, if the Baldur's Gate 3, if the Game of Thrones was just not the result of the end of something that was horrible and repressive and conservative, but rather an ongoing state of being that we all got to live in all the time, because that is truly the beauty of life.
Nice, dude. Yeah, right. What else can I say? True.
And that's why I'm an anarchist. There you go.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes totally sense.
Yeah.
And you asked me before, could that be a philosophical episode? And yeah, it is, so, and still, like anarchy and sex can be also like, in some person's mind, be a bad thing, like, oh, cool. No, we are free of laws, free of rules. So I can rape everybody who I want to rape, like, so.
And
they were assholes, they were assholes. So I don't know, like, so that's why I'm always like confused with anarchy, because I think like I don't want like any Nazi, any asshole to be an anarchist and have like all the things in his own hands, like I don't like that, like I want you and me and other cool persons like you and me.
But rape and controller, like that's authority. That's somebody trying to submit their own personal authority on someone else, which is totally acceptable. So I mean, fuck them.
And I also think like maybe all these hatred and all these raping and all that stuff comes because of depression and all of like this pressure what we get from the laws, what's going on around right now. Like maybe more freedom, more easiness would be helping not to rape anymore, not to be depressed. I don't know. I
don't know, man. I think that like if you're just a free society, if you live in anarchy, then the art is always going to be sexual, and it's always going to be like,
for sure.
There's not going to be as much authority. There's not going to be this empire that's coming in that's doing mass murder. There's always going to be bad people and bad stuff going on, like no matter what this level society's at, whether it's like anarchy, communism, fascism, fucking whatever, like democracy is humans are bad.
Yeah.
But so dude, that's like that's it.
Yeah. I don't know what your computer says there. I hope everything's fine, right?
No.
Still recording?
It's not.
Shit. Since when?
Since a while.
Oh, fuck.
Oh well.
Oh no.
Well, should we hit the button?
Yeah.
Let's do it, dude.
Cheers.
My technical capacities failed at some point, so
It's not even working anymore.
Yeah, I get. Maybe we get the audio off the video.
Yeah, hopefully the audio's on there.
Yeah,
My audio's out. It's not on.
we'll see. I don't know, dude. That's a depressing end to a topic. Oh well.
Damn it. May you roll a natural 20 then?
Yeah, say it.
May you roll.
No, wait, don't say it like that we're depressed. Come on.
Okay, cool. Everything is fine. You can still listen to us, right?
Yes.
And
Our
that's
tech
it.
failed.
Next episode is about something else, and then we talk about next episode we talk about dragons, but we don't tell you about which ones. Cheers.
May you roll a natural 20.
Goodbye.
Bye. 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 Cheers.
Cheers.